I think we're good. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us on this Friday afternoon, including Mumia Abu-Jamal. This is a cold Friday afternoon, but we gather here in a time-honored tradition of people coming out into the streets and getting on a soapbox to bring justice to American society, to our communities, to the media, and to the government when the government refuses to address issues of racism, inequality, and injustice. The reason why we're gathering here today is because the Fraternal Order of Police has stirred up controversy over President Obama's nominee to the Department of Justice, Debo Adegbele. I was called by Fox News about a week ago to speak on the issue, on the case of Mumia Abu-Jamal. Within 40 minutes of a phone call, I was at Fox News, and what proceeded to happen was a circus, during which I was shut down and not given enough time to develop an argument around what we know is one of the most important cases in 20th century American history. The manner in which Fox News handled the situation is reprehensible. It speaks to a false journalism, and it represents a kind of bully tactic that's meant to silence our side and silence dissent. If Fox News would allow me to speak on this case, I would say that Mumia is innocent, that even though their program and the Fraternal Order of Police is obsessed with calling Mumia a cop killer, the fact is that the people who are known in American society for terrorizing innocent people in the streets are killer cops. And part of what they're doing is projecting onto us, onto people who fight for justice, what they themselves are guilty of. So once again, the people who are known in urban centers across this country, both black, white, Latino, the people who are known for terrorizing people in the street and killing them with abandon are killer cops. Mumia, at the time of his incarceration, was an award-winning journalist who in fact won a coveted award called the Armstrong Award, awarded by Columbia University to radio journalists, and he got this award for his coverage of the Pope's visit to Philadelphia. He was an award-winning journalist. He was a journalist who was responsible for exposing the manner in which MOVE had been attacked by the cops. He was known for exposing police brutality and corruption in City Hall, and for those reasons, he was framed in the courts by the prosecution, the racist cop, the racist cops and the judge. One of the most important things about this case is that 15 of the 35 police officers involved in collecting evidence in the Mumia Abu-Jamal trial were charged and convicted for tampering with evidence to obtain a conviction only weeks after the end of Mumia's trial. Now, had Mumia been tried by a jury of his peers, by black jurors, the jury would not have believed what those corrupt cops were saying. Why? Because black people have a very different relationship to the cops than white people in this country. Mumia was railroaded in the courts. he was not tried by a jury of his peers, but most importantly, the existence of exculpatory evidence was suppressed at trial. There was a fourth person at the scene of the trial, someone by the name of Kenneth Freeman. That was suppressed at trial by the prosecution and by the judge. That same person, Kenneth Freeman, the fact that he was at the crime scene and seen running away from the crime scene was acknowledged in a concurrent trial that was happening at the time, that of Billy Cook. And in fact, one of the prosecution's major witnesses, Cynthia White, acknowledges the presence of this fourth person at Billy Cook's trial. So we want to ask the Fraternal Order Police, and we want to ask Fox News, why was that exculpatory evidence suppressed? I want to just end by saying the following. I read not long ago the letter that the Fraternal Order of Police wrote to the President of the United States protesting the Added Belly nomination. This is really important, guys. Part of what that letter argues is that Mumia's attorneys falsely used the claim of racism to get Mumia off of death row. Now, shucks, I think this may be Mumia calling me. Oh no. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again because this is probably the most important bit of information that you should know about the tactics of the Fraternal Order of Police. So the Fraternal Order of Police wrote in their letter that Mumia's attorneys were race baiting and falsely using race to get Mumia off of death row. Now that is an absolute fabrication and lie, and an example of how the Fraternal Order of Police, in fact, uses race and distorts race and racial divisions to delegitimize the claims of Mumia Abu-Jamal and all of the people who've been wrongly incarcerated by the state. The fact is that the issue on which Mumia was taken off of death row was the Mills claim, which had absolutely nothing to do with racism and had everything to do with the manner in which the jury was instructed. Now this is important because the reason why Mumia was sent to death row was because the jury thought that no one of them could actually ask to hear something about Mumia's character. They thought that in order to hear evidence on Mumia's character, they all had to agree to hear this. But any one of them could have said, I want to know more about this man. If they had not been improperly instructed, the defense would have said, well, members of the court, you are sending to death one of the most noted journalists of this city, someone who's been identified by Philadelphia Magazine as a journalist to watch because of his brilliant work. And someone would have said that in fact this man just got one of the most coveted awards in radio journalism, the Columbia University Armstrong Award for Excellence in Broadcasting, and he got that for his report on the Pope's visit to Philadelphia. Someone would have said that this is an upstanding leader in our community, a family man who loves his wife and his children, and he should not be sent to his death. But that was not allowed to be heard because the jury was misinstructed. That is known as the Mills claim. And that is the reason why 4 judges decided that Mumia's death sentence was unconstitutional. Again, an example of how the police, the Fraternal Order of Police, distorts the facts, manipulates information to essentially delegitimize the fact that we stand on the right side of history. We're bringing Mumia home. This movement is building, it's growing. You should read the letter that we are sending to the president, and we need to build this movement from the bottom up, because ultimately the fight for Mumia is about the struggle to stop the state from putting so many people people in prison, throwing people away, and essentially the fight to bring Mumia home is tied up in the issue of building a new society, a different society on a completely different, priorities. So thank you. I'm going to bring to the fore Keith Cook, who is Mumia's brother, who has joined us today all the way from North Carolina.
Thank you very much. Thank everybody once again for being here. I know it's a cold day, but you all out here in support of Mumia. I want to say very quickly, because you've already heard the story, that Mumia is innocent.
That's right.
Yeah.
That Mumia is innocent.
Yes. Right.
That Mumia is innocent.
Right. Oh.
And every time you hear someone call out that Mumia is a cop killer or whatever else derogatory they say, we have to continue to say and to press on that Mumia is innocent. Because what we have out here are people that don't have the facts and not trying to get the information. They just want to keep saying the same rhetoric over and over and over as they have for 30-some years. And what we have to do is continue doing what we're doing. We have to continue to get the word out. We have to continue to say it. And the more times we say it, the more people we will convert to understand that Mumia is innocent and we want him to come home. So that's why we are here. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here today because Mumia is innocent. Mumia is innocent.
And he's coming home.
And Mumia is innocent. And we're here to bring him home. Thank you very much.
We're going to hear next from Suzanne Ross, long-standing member of the New York Coalition to Free Mumia Abu-Jamal, New York City, but also long-time activist in this movement that, in fact, saved Mumia's life in the 1990s when he was facing execution twice.
Greetings, greetings. Another part of my history is that I was born in Nazi Europe in the 30s.
That's right.
And I will never, never forget that legacy. And when I see the Fraternal Order of Police and their tactics, I see Nazi. I see Nazi. I see those terroristic tactics that they use. I see the psychology that they put forward, that Mumia should have been executed. They're pissed off because Mumia wasn't killed. That's what they argue. Those letters, Maureen Faulkner and the FOP, what they keep saying, he was wrongfully removed from death row and wrongfully put into general population. We're fighting for Mumia's innocence. We're saying Mumia should never have been in prison one day. He never should have even been arrested, given how much question there was. And now, these people, with all the evidence that's been raised about Mumia's innocence, all the questions, if you were halfway honest, even if you didn't like Mumia, you wouldn't argue that he should have been killed. You would have said there should be some more investigation of the possibility of his being innocent. It is frightening that these people get on the radio and on TV and that Fox News gives them that kind of podium, that kind of opportunity to put their fascistic message out. We cannot allow people like the FOP to intimidate government officials, to get executions, to keep our political prisoners from getting out of prison. We must stop them every time they speak, every time they get up. And Fox News, by silencing our side and by giving them that kind of time, is collaborating with murderers. And that's who the murderers are. That's who's responsible for a death culture in this society. Free Mumia, free them all, stop the FOP, stop them today.
I'm glad the older people are firecrackers. I wish I had your energy, Suzanne. Okay, we have a special statement that's going to be read by